All right. Make sure this recording is going. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of Everyday Spirituality, hosted here by the 70 Nations Broadcast Network. I am so glad you're here. I am so grateful to be here myself. I would like to invite you to check out some of the other hosts and shows here on the network. There is a beautiful selection of people that you can learn from. We are going to start a series on Hitbodedute, and today's episode is an introduction. And when we look at everyday spirituality, we are infusing our lives with constant connection to Hashem. And how that comes about in many ways is through developing that relationship with Him. And so Hitbodedute, very simply, is speaking to Hashem in your own words, in your own language. I've heard it discussed as, thinking of how you would talk to your grandfather, thinking of how you would talk to a close friend. This is casual conversation in your own words, in your own language, really sharing honestly from the heart. And Rabbi Nachman of Breslov is who brought this down in many ways to us and made it accessible to people. We will be learning more about Rabbi Nachman as we go through this series. Here's a little bit about him. So he was the great-grandson of the Baal Shem Tov, and his teachings really emphasize a personal relationship with Hashem. Now, this comes at a time of his teachings when there was a lot of thought behind being just for those, that connection was just for those with a lot of education. And he was of the opinion that a personal relationship with Hashem was for everybody. And here we have Likutei Moran. That's one of his famous works. And recently this book was published, Crossing the Narrow Bridge. I highly recommend this if you're interested in learning about more of his teachings. It has been a phenomenal resource and just very, very highly recommended. And he teaches to set aside at least 1 hour every day to speak with Hashem. We're going to go into this a little bit more. An hour is beautiful, amazing if you can do it. But one thing I learned from one of my teachers is it's better to set aside a smaller amount of time that you know you can commit to versus setting aside a big chunk and having it be something that you're unable to achieve on an everyday basis. And she even goes so far as to say, just set aside 2 minutes at a set time that you're going to do Hitbodedute every day. And then if you're able to do longer, wonderful. But at least you can do what you committed to with your 2 minutes at a set time. So Hitbodedute, it's not about reciting texts, and it's not about performing. It's an actual honest conversation. And this is where a lot of us come into, we go, well, what am I going to say? Especially if you have time during the day and you're like, what am I going to talk about for an hour? I don't know what I'm going to say. One of the first things I can tell you, one of the best things is actually to pray for the words that you are going to say during that time. And the more you do it, the less cumbersome it begins to feel. It's really just about building that relationship with Hashem. And just as you would speak with somebody who is so close to your heart, you can't wait to talk to that person every day, many times a day. And so this is developing that relationship with Hashem that you can't wait to have that time to stop and speak with him. And you're going to be speaking with your own words in your own language and about your real life. We're not putting on airs. We're not trying to pretend like everything's fine. It's actual real life, what's going on, just like you would talk with that very, very close friend about what's going on in your life. And every day, yes, every day, we want to be speaking with Hashem. And it really is very simple. You speak and Hashem listens. And then the more you do it, you begin to listen as well. You'll find that your time does not have to be spent talking the entire time. There's moments where the words will fade and you'll take a breath and you will listen. And it's beautiful. We're going to go through how do we do this? A simple guide. First off, look at your day and see where can you carve out even just 5 minutes where you know you can do this consistently at a set time, and try and have a set place, a special chair outside if you can. If you know that you have 5 minutes in the car before you pick up your kids from school, pick that time and place. And when that time arrives, take a few moments to prepare yourself. I suggest taking some breaths and reminding yourself that you are about to speak directly to the creator of the world. And it's okay when that time comes if you simply have no words. You can show up in that time and tell Hashem that you don't know what to say. And you can ask him to provide the words for you. Or you can simply stay quiet and meditative in that time. One of the best ways to get your words flowing and opening up your heart is to start with gratitude. And it's not too much to thank for the same things every day. Nothing is too little and nothing is too big. Your breath, your eyesight, your digestion, the fact that you can feel the ground beneath your feet, the beautiful thing that you saw that day, your home, the trees you can see from your window, the blessings that surround you, each member of your family, your friends and neighbors, and also your struggles and your difficulties. There are lessons inside of everything that we go through. And even if we don't understand, we can thank Hashem for them and ask for him to open our eyes to those lessons. And it is perfectly fine to spend your entire Hitbodedute session here only on gratitude. There's so much we could thank Hashem for. We could continue day in and day out thanking and never be done. Every heartbeat, every breath is something to be grateful for. So spending time here makes everything else flow a bit better and really lifts our hearts. The next section is self-reflection. Considering your last 24 hours, thinking about how you did. I really want to invite you to be very gentle with yourself in this space. If you, God forbid, have a tendency towards depression or really talking down to yourself, I would not go into the areas where you have fallen short. I would focus instead on the areas that you succeeded. There's time in future Hitbodedute sessions where you can analyze areas where you fell short when you feel strong enough that you will not fall into depression about them. It's simply a moment of saying, I could have handled that situation with more grace. In the future, I hope to. Please help me to do that. If that is not something you can do easily, then skip the fall short section and go on to the areas where you succeeded. Bolster yourself up. And then also think about what you want to work on in the next 24 hours. This is really a time for truthful, gentle reflection. The next section is to go into your requests and your longings. What desires are on your heart? Hashem knows what they are, but it's beautiful for you to vocalize them, to ask for help, to ask for patience, to ask for spiritual growth. There's a story that someone came to see Rabbi Nachman, and he was missing a button on his coat. And Rabbi Nachman asked him about it, and he just kind of brushed it off, that it was too small of a thing to worry about. And Rabbi Nachman, chastised him a bit, that is he too great to ask Hashem for a button? Nothing is too small or too big for Hashem. So when and where do we do Hitbodedute? And Rabbi Nachman says it is very good to pour out one's heart before Hashem in the fields. Being out in nature, in solitude for an hour, speaking out loud is what Rabbi Nachman advises. It's the ideal. But there's times in our lives where it just does not work yet. And so being in your car, quietly in your mind for 5 minutes can be very beautiful as well. And then, as we're focused on here in everyday spirituality, we continue the conversation throughout the day. Remembering that consistency, doing it every day at the same time when possible, matters more than location. So, as we go on about our day, how do we continue this? In all of our activities, we continue to converse with Hashem, thanking, asking for help, asking for advice, asking for direction, asking Him to help us grow from the things that we're experiencing, realizing that He is there with us in every moment and in every situation. Common obstacles to Hitbodedute. You may feel kind of distracted, distant. Sometimes people get sleepy. You may be feeling very awkward. It feels very awkward to talk out loud when you're not used to it, to what appears to be talking to yourself, and it's totally normal. And share those feelings with Hashem. This feels really awkward to talk out loud. I feel silly. I don't have anything to say. I've thanked you for everything I can think of to thank you, and I'm only been 1 minute. Please help me. Please give me the words to continue to connect with you. So, Hitbodedute is not an advanced mystical practice. It's simple. It's relational. It's accessible to anyone who is ready to speak to Hashem to develop that relationship. As we go through this series, we're going to be learning how to navigate the silence, how to handle doubt, how to integrate emotion, and how to move from talking to listening. But for now, the practice of this week, I invite you to set aside a few minutes every day to speak honestly with Hashem, and then carry that conversation with you through the day. inviting Hashem into all of your activities. Thank you for being here. Next week, we're going to explore what to do when you sit down to speak and you're just not feeling it. How do you move forward from that? I'm so glad you joined me today. My contact information is on the screen. If you'd like to reach out, I'm available. I would love to hear how this is going for you. Blessings.